Yo, what's going on YouTube? How you guys doing today? This is going to be a short video. I just kind of wanted to do my own personal review of the new Zowie GSR-SE Rouge mousepad. There's not many of them out there right now, and I'm sure that some people probably want to know a little bit more about the pad maybe. So from a Apex player's perspective, maybe I can give some insight on the pad. And I'm going to be comparing it to the Zowie GSR Divina edition along with the Vaxee PA pad, which was my main pad for a while. And so, yeah, the first thing with the pad, which I mean, let's go over it. I mean, you guys probably know what it looks like. But I think it's actually a really, really nice looking pad, especially in person. It's a really deep red. And I just like the way it looks. I think it looks pretty official. In terms of quality, it feels a lot like the Vaxee PA in terms of quality. In fact, the Vaxee PA and the Zowie GSR-SE Rouge are really, really similar. I would say that the new GSR-SE Rouge is more so similar to a Vaxee PA than it is the old GSR-SE. For a disclaimer, I don't have the deep blue GSR-SE, which I think is what Zowie compares it to. This is the Divina edition. I'm not too sure if there is a difference between the Divina edition and the deep blue edition, but I'm going to be comparing it to the Divina edition. With the Divina edition, I will say there is a little bit of fraying on the sides right here. It's nothing too bad. I don't even know if it'll pick up. I don't know if it'll pick up on this webcam. This is just a pretty basic webcam. Yeah, it's not terrible fraying. And to be fair, I have had this pad for like almost 3 years now. So I would say for 3 years, this pad is honestly still in pretty good condition. And of the 3 pads, it is definitely the slowest. Now, I don't know if it's the slowest by default or if it is because I've had it for 3 years and I've probably put more wear on the Divina than the other 2 pads. But for sure, the GSR-SE Divina edition is the slowest of the 3 for sure. Also, before I get to the Vaxee, I more so want to compare it to the Vaxee PA pad because it's way more similar to the Vaxee PA. Granted, all 3 of these pads are roughly the same pad, give or take. If you go on Zowie's website, they talk about the changes they've made. One of those changes being the rubber base is a little bit softer, more flexible, and that is very true. The rubber they use for the GSR-SE Rouge is a lot more bendy and I guess flexible than the old Divina. The old Divina, the rubber's pretty hard. It's a pretty stiff rubber. It's not a hard rubber, but it's a more stiff rubber. I think some people may or may not like that. To be honest, whenever you're actually using the pad, there's really no difference. You don't really notice it all that much. But some people might like the harder rubber. The more stiff rubber, I should say. And you're also going to get the more stiff rubber on, I believe, the deep blue edition. I don't know. I don't have that one. I'm pretty sure they use the same rubber base up until the new Rouge edition. If it were me and you were to buy a deep blue edition, Divina edition, or the Rouge right now, I'd probably go with the Rouge. It's their newest model. It is definitely their more refined model. And I do think the quality on this is nicer than the Divina. It feels higher quality. It's got a slightly smoother feeling, which kind of gives it a slightly faster glide than the Divina because it's a tighter knit from what they say. And you definitely feel that. It does feel a little bit smoother, feels a little bit more high quality. I also think it looks better, at least than the, I think, powder blue Divina. Maybe some people like the way this looks. Looks are all preference. But also, I think you're probably going to be better off getting a Rouge right now. You're going to be more likely to find a Rouge than you are to find a Divina. The Divina, I don't even think they make anymore. But at the end of the day, between the Divina and between the Rouge, I mean, it's a GSR-SE at the end of the day. They are almost the exact same pad. The differences you will get in the Divina in terms of feeling from the GSR-SE Rouge it is not going to affect your aim. If it is affecting your aim, it is a placebo effect, because if I use the Rouge for a day and then hop back on the Divina for a day, my aim's going to be the exact same. I think your aim's more so going to come down to your mouse and obviously the pad for sure. Like, I think a lot of people like the GSR-SE pads for a reason. They're definitely a really smooth feeling pad with a consistent surface. Compared to the Divina is definitely a little bit slower, a little bit stiffer rubber, or I should say, less flexible rubber. And I believe that's also going to be same for the deep blue edition. The last thing, the Rouge with the Divina, is I believe the Rouge is slightly bigger, but not by much. So if I line these corners up, at the bottom, these corners are lined up, you can kind of see there's a little bit more top. I don't even know if this is good. I might try to get a picture of this instead. There's like maybe 2 or 3 centimeters more on the sides than the Divina. So the Rouge is slightly bigger than a Divina, but to be honest, it's not much bigger. I definitely prefer the Rouge, probably because it's newer, feels a little bit better. I think it is a little bit smoother, definitely on your skin, although I do use an arm sleeve when gaming. And I think you're going to have an easier time getting a Rouge. That said, if you have a Divina and you're trying to get a new GSR-SE, you will not go wrong with the Rouge. It is not going to be a noticeable difference. They are practically the same pad with very, very minor differences. I'm going to set that there. I more so want to compare it kind of to the Vaxee PA, because if you've ever used a Vaxee PA, from my understanding, I could be wrong. Don't quote me on this. I believe Boardsy, in his review of the Vaxee PA, he was saying the team that makes the GSR-SE, the original team, I don't know, I guess went and made the Vaxee PA pad. Either way, a Vaxee PA pad is practically a GSR-SE. It's a GSR-SE. It's a little bit nicer than, I think, also the Divina behind me. Comparing the Vaxee PA to the Rouge, in terms of speed, they're almost literally identical. With the Divina, you can kind of tell there's a slight slower, more control feel to the Divina, or that could just be because the pad is older than these two, so it's going to be slower for me. But comparing these two, and I've put some pretty heavy use on the Vaxee PA. I've been using the Rouge for about 3 weeks now, but I have like 3 or 4 months on the Vaxee PA, which isn't like super, super heavy use, but heavy enough use. These pads feel the exact same. I'm pretty sure the rubber base that they use for the Vaxee PA is the exact same for the Rouge. Actually, no, now like kind of doing this, like I would say the Vaxee PA rubber actually is even more flexible. Yeah, no, 100%. I take that back. The Vaxee PA's rubber is actually more flexible feeling than the Rouge. The Rouge is a little bit more stiffer. So the Divina has the least amount of flexible rubber base, then the Rouge, and then the Vaxee PA. With that said, the surface of the Vaxee PA and the surface of the Rouge are almost identical once again. I will say, I don't know if this is because it's newer or not, but the Vaxee, or not the Vaxee, excuse me, the GSR-SE Rouge feels a little bit smoother of a surface than my Vaxee PA. Once again, I don't know if that's because I have more use on the Vaxee PA or not. I would say a little bit stiffer, less flexible rubber, also a little bit smoother cloth. Vaxee PA, cloth a little bit more rough, once again, these are just not noticeable differences like in real use. and then a little bit more flexible of a pad. Another thing apparently they have done with the GSR-SE Rouge is they've made it more resistant to humidity. I'm gonna be honest, I really don't notice. I live in, first off, I use an arm sleeve, and arm sleeves help with like humidity a lot and just getting sweat and dead skin on your pads in general. But also, I live in Texas and it's like 100 degrees every day here right now, so it is pretty humid where I'm at. Maybe that's why I don't notice. But yeah, this pad, the consistency of this pad feels just like it did when I got it, and the consistency doesn't change from my first hour of gaming, to my 5th hour of gaming, my 6th hour of gaming. The pad definitely keeps the same feeling the whole way through. I don't know if that's because it's already humid in my room because I live in Texas and we're in a really humid area right now. But yeah, the consistency of this pad, I will say, stays the same. However, the only pad of these three, between the Rouge, between the Vaxee PA, and the Divina behind me, the only one I have had issues with in terms of humidity changing the feeling would be the old Divina edition. So in terms of Zowie, the GSR-SEs, them fixing the humidity problem, I would say they have definitely fixed it. However, with the Vaxee PA, I also don't really notice a humidity problem. It feels the same my first hour to my 5th or 6th hour of gaming. That said, I would say the Zowie GSR-SE, I think, once again, Boardsy has said this, I think a lot of people are saying it, is it really is kind of an in-between the old GSR-SE and a Vaxee PA. However, the differences between any of these three pads is just not noticeable in your standard use. You will notice a difference, but I really genuinely do not believe it is a noticeable enough difference to really change your aim. I believe if you like the old GSR-SE, you're gonna like the new one, the Rouge. I believe if you like the GSR-SE, you're gonna like the Vaxee PA pad. That's why I like it. That's why a lot of people are starting to use it. If you like the Vaxee PA pads, I think you're gonna like the GSR-SE pads. At the end of the day, they are all roughly the same pad, give or take. I guess I just have a lot of pads to use if one goes bad. Comparing sizes to the GSR-SE Rouge and the Vaxee PA, if I am correct, the Vaxee PA is slightly bigger than the Rouge. Actually, no, that's not true. It's looking like the Vaxee PA and the Rouge are actually the same size now, which they are. Yeah, these are the same size. I mean, it doesn't. You can't even see the Vaxee PA behind it when I do this practically. And then I can flip it, and you'll see that they are, yeah, they're like the same size. That's kind of there. Let me do that maybe. Actually, let me do this. No, it looks like the GSR-SE, the Rouge might be a tiny bit taller. Once again, I'll have a picture up comparing them on the screen, but once again, the size difference between the Vaxee PA, the GSR-SE Rouge, and the Divina, and probably the Deep Blue, not a noticeable size difference. The pads all roughly feel the same. I would say if you want to get one right now, the Vaxee PA is always in stock. The Rouge, also a good choice. You're not going to go wrong with any of these pads if you like them. I do think the Rouge is just more of a refinement of the pads. If anything, I will say the Rouge feels the most premium of the three. Once again, I will state, I don't know if that is because it's the newest and has the least amount of wear, or if it just because it feels the most premium. The stitching on the edge, or their lack of stitching, because these are edgeless. They don't have stitching on the edges. I will say though, the edge of the GSR-SE Rouge looks to be the most premium, consistent, and like clean cut. So I will say I do think the Rouge is the most premium feeling of the three. And I think it's like even $10 more than the Divina and the Deep Blue. I don't know if that's because it's their newest flagship model or if it's genuinely $10 more. Yeah, anyhow, I would say if you like the GSR-SE, if you like the Vaxee PA, you're going to like the Rouge. You can't really go wrong with any of them. And at the end of the day, it is the exact same pad you're probably used to. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Slight refinements. the end of the day, same pad. I would recommend all three realistically if you like this kind of pad. Some people are going to not like how controlled they are. Some people like faster pads. Some people are going to like even more controlled pads like the standard GSR or whatever else there is out there. So many mouse pads nowadays. For me, because it is the newest and it does feel a bit more premium than the other two, I'm going to be using the Zowie GSR-SE Rouge edition for the foreseeable future. It's going to be my standard. It's going to be my main pad for right now. I might test out the Divina, might test out the Vaxee, but they realistically all feel the exact same. So probably not. I probably don't have a reason to. For me, I'll be using the GSR-SE Rouge, and I give it a 2 thumbs up. I give it a pass. If you like the GSR-SE pad, you're really going to like this pad. I think it's a good pad. And yeah, I don't really want to give it a rating system out of 10 because mouse pads at the end of the day are all preference. But I give it 2 thumbs up for sure. I think it's a good pad. I'm still using it. I'm going to keep using it. I noticed that I just aim good with the Vaxee PA, the Rouge, and the Divina. These style of pads I really like. I think a lot of people really like them. They're popular and always out of stock for a reason. So yeah, I'm gonna end it there. Good pad. I recommend it if you like this style of pad. If you don't like, if you don't know if you're gonna like it, if you never used one, hey, you know, I say give it a chance. You know, it's not the most pricey pad, but at the same time, it's also not the cheapest. There are cheaper options, but it's also not artisan expensive ultra premium mouse pad. It is a feasible cost. So if you want to try it, I'd say try it. If you're used to the GSR pads, you're going to like it. And yeah, so 2 thumbs up from me. If you guys want to keep up with me, I try to stream almost every night, 6 to 5 nights a week, realistically, over at twitch.tv/imscova. I mainly play Apex Legends. Occasionally, I Kovax to warm up. Occasionally, you'll see some other games here and there, but I mainly play Apex Legends. You guys can catch me there. Once again, twitch.tv/imscova. I stream night times, Central Standard Time here in the US. And yeah, if you guys like this video, please drop a like, subscribe, share. If this helped you out, if you want to know anything else, drop a comment. I'll try to answer it the best I can. And yeah, YouTube. Until next time, you guys have a good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are at in the world. Hopefully this was some help to you. And you guys take care. Peace out, everybody.